Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the new moon. It's on July 24. It's at 2 degrees of Leo. It's making an opposition to Pluto, a sextile to Uranus, and a trine to Saturn and Neptune. And if that sounds like it's intense, you are correct. It is. Let's talk about it. Now, before I go too much into the new moon, I did want to mention an upcoming date, and that is August 8th. August 8 is the Lion's Gate, and I've done a video in the past about this, but this upcoming Lion's Gate energy is going to be quite different. And that is because the minor grand trine is going to shift into a kite pattern because Mars will be in early degrees of Libra. That is a very intense configuration. I'm going to talk about it in a video, but I wanted to give you a heads up just in case I didn't get that video out in time, that a few days before August 8 and a few days after, and of course August 8 itself, be mindful when you are out in the world. So now let's talk about this new moon in Leo making an opposition to Pluto, and this is an exact opposition. And an opposition energy is quite different than a square. In an opposition energy, there's kind of a projection of your issues onto the other person and vice versa. And so this can, when you don't trust someone, you might think that they are not trusting you, or in other situations, this could be the thief that accuses other people of stealing, or the cheater who says that their partner is cheating. So with this new moon as an opposition to Pluto, everybody is trying to set a boundary or a border and saying, do not cross this line. And at the same time, they are crossing the line. And so the idea is that you are walking across a person's line and setting a border telling them not to cross that line. And so, of course, that's really intense energy, and we're seeing that play out in the world already. But for you personally, this could be very useful energy because as an individual, you can make choices, whereas the group sometimes can't. So the opportunities that you have are based on the sextile to Uranus, which gives you a whole bunch of other paths that you can take to your destination. And you have Saturn with Neptune, and that's a trine to this new moon. And that is the energy of having this blueprint of what it is that you want to accomplish, or the life that you're trying to create. In the world astrology, what we call mundane astrology, there is a big push to try to establish borders or boundaries. But those borders or boundaries might be in somebody else's territory. And then the other people get upset about that, and no one with this opposition is willing to compromise. But in your individual life, you can make changes. And that is that first you identify what's no longer working in your life, what is dead and needs to be buried. That's the Pluto. Then with the sextile to Uranus, you can figure out all of these new paths that are opening up for you. And then the Neptune and Saturn combination helps you establish a real direction for yourself. But the loudest voice here is going to be Pluto. So the bottom line here is that Pluto is going to reveal what it's going to take to empower you to gain what you want. Uranus then offers you different paths to get to that point, and Saturn and Neptune give you the steps in order to get there. And this is a great opportunity for you because to have all of these major planets line up with this new moon is very rare. And so over this next 2 weeks, you can make a lot of progress. And of course, if you would like some help with this and you want to know what's up ahead for you in 2025 and 2026, I do readings. There's a link in the description. Okay, Gemini, when we look at this new moon, it's lighting up this area of collecting information, which you're really good at, of deciding what kind of information you want to get, who to talk to, where to get the information. So basically, it's about being the student and absorbing knowledge. And the place of power, the place that you might be afraid to go, is the position of the teacher. And that is to say, I don't need more classes. I do have enough information. Now it's time for me to take action. So that's where the thing that maybe you're not facing is there, that you are ready, that you have the qualifications or you have the knowledge, and it's time to put that into action. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, you have some really good planets for communication, especially within the community. That would mean go to local places. Don't go too far from where you live to meet somebody new. And so maybe some meetup groups, hiking groups, a local church or something like that. Something where you're going to see people who live around you. That's going to be a good source for you for finding love. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury is retrograde and it's making a semi-sextile to Jupiter. And that means that this is a time to work on the communication that you have with each other. That you could be getting tripped up on like one or two words or phrases that you're defining differently. That if the two of you could have an agreed definition of these words or terms, that things would be a lot smoother. And you know, it's something as simple as when you say it's urgent, to them, maybe they think that they need to get to it today, but you're thinking they need to get to it immediately. That sort of thing. Now, when it comes to your money, you can pull money from the moon that is just lit up in this chart. It is hitting almost everything, and that means that you have money opportunities from so many different directions, which is so good for Gemini. So this is to take small actions in lots of different directions. You know, try different things. You know, don't put all of your eggs in one basket right now. As a Gemini, you shouldn't anyway. But this is even more so a time to be creative and try new things. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, the moon's making a trine to Saturn. So there is a likelihood you could make more money over this next 2 weeks. And so you want to pay attention to that, because this doesn't always line up. I mean, it's often, but it's not always. And so therefore, it's a good idea to make note of what's working so that you can capitalize on that later. So when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, you have a lot of good energy for continuing the conversation about a promotion or a raise. I don't know if it's going to actually manifest during this 2 weeks because the moon's not making an aspect with Mars, but the houses are lit up, so I think the communication is there. And so you just continue to have that conversation, and then, you know, outside this 2 week period, I think that you could secure that raise. Okay, this is the third section of this video, and I have a couple of quick announcements, and then we're going to continue talking about finding the hidden money in your chart. I teach a free class once a month. It is on August 1st. It's at 12 p.m. Pacific time. It's by Zoom. It's called New Month Wishes, and what we do is we talk about the astrological happenings that are going to be occurring over the course of the month, and then we write our monthly wishes together, and then we do a short meditation to energize them together. The class is about an hour. It's really fun. There is a link to register in the description so you can get the Zoom link and join us. And then members of this channel get exclusive access to special videos, deep dive videos, and videos about other topics. And so if you're interested in joining and becoming a member, the join button is by the subscribe button. So let's continue our discussion about finding the hidden money in your chart. And by the way, I do have a video course on this topic. There's a link in the description. So last time we talked about finding your money planet based on the sign that was on the second house cusp. And so hopefully you now know that planet. Now you have more than one money planet, but this is the one that is associated with the second house. And by the way, if you are uncertain about which planet that is for you, you can send me your info. I will send you a PDF of your chart. Just put into the subject line that you want to know your money planet. So last time we talked about the different sources of money that could come to you based on the position of that money planet. This time, I want to talk about the actions that you can do to uncork the blocks that you might have when it comes to making money. So we're going to start with kind of an overview, and then in future videos, we can chunk down and get to more specifics. But we're going to start by dividing our chart into just 4 pieces, and that'll be 4 quadrants. So the first quadrant would be houses 1, 2, and 3. Second quadrant would be 4, 5, and 6. A third quadrant would be 7, 8, 9. And then the fourth quadrant will be 10, 11, 12. So in that last video, I outlined how to find your money planet. So hopefully you still know where that is. And so you are going to find what quadrant that money planet is in. So you're going to go to your second house cusp, look at the sign, and then find the planet that rules that sign. And I'm calling it your money planet just for the sake of this video to make it simpler. But this planet, of course, does other things in your chart, and it potentially rules other houses, it rules other things. And so, but right now we're focusing on the money side. So if your money planet falls in the first quadrant, so that would be first house, second house, or third house, then it's very important that you deal with money blocks and then take an action towards making more money. And so by money blocks, I mean there might be a fear of failure, a fear of success, a fear of talking to people about money matters, or being angry with money, or having some effects from childhood still affect you now when you are making money. All of these types of things can be considered money blocks. And then blocks like this are removed by doing things like tapping, hypnosis, journaling, talking to someone who is, doing some sort of therapy. And so once you have looked at what the block is and done what you can to remove it, then go take an action in the world. And that will really open the money floodgates. So the bottom line is you clear the issue, then take an action. And if another issue comes up, you clear that and then take an action. Now, if your money planet falls in the fourth house, fifth house, or sixth house, and that would be the second quadrant, then it is all about you interacting with others by doing the things that you do well. That is, you go do the things that bring you joy, you do the things that are helpful to others, and that opens the money floodgates for you. So in other words, if you are of service to others, if you help others, but by doing the things that you enjoy doing, that creates this joyful energy that opens the money floodgates. If your money planet falls in the third quadrant, that would be houses 7, 8, or 9, then you open the money floodgates through collaboration. And that means that as you meet more people, as you connect with people, you have more money opportunities. And so starting out, the collaboration could be something super tiny, like saying hi to someone as you pass them on the street, or helping a stranger unlock a shopping cart. But ultimately, what this is supposed to lead to is to business collaborations and connections where people help you get a job, or help you get a promotion, or help you expand your business. And so basically, meeting a lot of people and connecting with a lot of people opens the money floodgates for you. So if your money planet falls in the fourth quadrant, so that would be houses 10, 11, or 12, then it's about being part of the community. That's the one that will open the money floodgates for you. And so that can be everything from, going and working at the local coffee shop to actually being an influencer, or, joining meetup groups, or starting your own meetup group, going into professional organizations and doing network that way, going to conventions and conferences, or actually getting to a point where you're speaking at those conferences. But it starts with something very simple, and even like when you're stuck on the freeway, to think about all of the people and all the cars around you, and that is your community. And as you are in your community, then you are recognized, and that opens the money floodgates. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any astrological questions you want me to cover on this channel, please let me know. Consider subscribing to the newsletter. The newsletter is a weekly overview of the aspects that are going to be happening, and it has some really cute pictures of black cats. And so if you like black cats, it's really good to subscribe, and that subscription's free. And I will see you in the next video.